That sucks. I don't know, but it's me. Hello? Oh. Oh, did you hear us the whole time? Whoops. So hold on a second, guys. Man. Okay. Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. Now, I would like to introduce to you Tony from Simplified Gardening.
Oh, wait.
Just kidding. So Tony is, I think, also a firefighter, and so I think something probably came up because we confirmed this meeting several times. I mean, he chose this date, and even just 2 days ago, we confirmed the meeting. And now I haven't heard anything from him. So I'm sure something came up because he's always been quite the professional, so he wouldn't just blow it off unless it wasn't important. So we will probably just do it next week or the week after that. Yes, he's definitely very busy. All right, well, kind of caught me off guard. I didn't have anything planned for today. I'm just going to let Camille talk for a moment.
Yes.
Say hi to you guys.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Now, I see right here, has anyone started their onions yet? We have. However, we have to go get seeds for the green onions today, amongst many other things, which is kind of a bummer to get them started, but we're excited and we love green onions.
We do. How much do we eat them?
All the time. And we've fermented them, and those have been really great all winter long on our dishes.
The fermented ones are really good. We need to eat more of them, though.
Yes, we do.
Because they get pushed into the back of the fridge. We've got like half-gallon mason jars of fermented green onions. Mm-hmm. Very particular taste. Yep.
Yeah. Getting a couple comments on the camera lens being a bit foggy.
Oh.
It is a very particular taste, but it's really good in the dishes. And depending on the dish, it really does change the flavor. And little old Tegan doesn't mind too bad.
What's your favorite way to have them?
Definitely on the Indian dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Partly because it is my favorite, one of my favorites. Yep.
Also the mashed potatoes.
Oh my gosh. The mashed potatoes are amazing, but I would have to say the fresh chives, which we've already gotten into, is amazing in the mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting on them chive blossoms, though.
Oh, yeah. She loves the chive blossoms. We'll pick them apart and put them into salads and stuff for really strong garlicky onion taste, or we will just straight up batter them and deep fry them. Well, fry them in lard,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Which is wonderful.
Super good.
Yep.
All right. Just wanted to say hi. Dismissed. So guys, let's see here. I told the tribe I mean, you're also the tribe, so I don't. We got to come up with a different word. I told the private tribe that about the onion thing. Okay, so the green onion. Last year, you guys heard me extolling the many benefits and virtues of the green onion, the Ishikura green onion. Okay, so they get really big. You've seen me holding on to them. Real big. They stay tender all summer long, okay? Which is actually rare for green onions. Most of the time, the green onions, once they put up that flower stalk, they tend to get really fibrous. So you got to cut them all down, let them regrow a second time in the summer, and then you get your second run of them, and then they're tender. But the Ishikura last year, they stayed tender the whole time. They never got fibrous and tough or anything like that. So I was under the impression that they were a green onion, like a true green onion, where they just come back every year. Because green onions have been the hardiest thing in the garden. They laugh at the cold. I mean, 0 degrees all the time. They freeze solid. You go out there and they'll just break right off. and then they just thaw out when the weather gets warmer and keep growing. So they've been amazing. But these Ishikura, turns out they're not truly perennials. Turns out at least that they're not cold hardy. So they're a little bit cold hardy, but this winter I went out there to the green onion patch, which, the previous green onions were here in this garden for 6 years, every year coming back, no matter how hard the winter got. But this year I went out to the Ishikura patch, which was really nice and established, and nothing. Nothing. Right. Yes, Shawnee grows. And they are. So Japanese heirloom, non-bulbing bunching onion. And they are really delicious, but they are not. So then I looked deeper into it, and they're actually more grown as an annual. So I wish I would have saved a ton of the seeds from last year, but I didn't, because I didn't need any more, because we already had 3 little patches of them that were well established. So now I went out there and dug under the mulch, the straw, and just mush. Where the big green onion stalks were in the soil, mush. Everything is just totally gone, 100% gone. So that's really unfortunate for us, because we love green onions, alliums of all different varieties. Typically, I've got like 5 different kinds of alliums coming up. But with the garden renovation the past couple years, I did away with all the multiplier onions, which weren't really all that good. We're growing the Egyptian onions at the Viking North plot. We didn't grow them here because I went all in on the Ishikura. But turns out now we have no green onions. So that's why we're just going to go to Menards, which is like a big box store around here, big store. And we're going to get the green onion seeds, because those are actually pretty good and pretty hardy. And we're going to start them right away. So there is our spectacle on that. Unfortunate. Yep. Yes, Shawnee. Yes, all the carrots I left in the ground are all mush. That happens here as well. Even if I cover them in lots of mulch, typically they are mush. So are the beets. Especially if we have like several days in the zeros, then yes, single digits. Yes, yes. So, yes. Yes, so you guys might have seen my last video I let out yesterday, and because I was getting a lot of questions from people about the headlines and the fertilizer crisis coming. It's got to be an engaging headline though. Incoming fertilizer crisis. Flashing lights and sirens and stuff. For us, we're not really concerned about that. Okay. Now, a lot of people think that when I say that means that I'm growing 100% of my own food. Here in this location, that's prohibited. I mean, we can't. Okay, it's space prohibitive. And when we get the land, we will, mostly, except for some things. But what that actually means is that, one, we have all the skills necessary to make our own fertilizers out of just stuff that we find around, if we need that. Even though I've gone more to the granular side, it's a matter of convenience and predictability and ease of use and ease of storage and pleasantness of smell and not the putrid stench of death all the time in the garden. Just the simple, easy, that's it for the whole season. So, and ultimately it works better. The granulars work ultimately better because they're more predictable, and they're just better in pretty much every way. But you can't make them yourself. You're not making blood meal. You can make some bone meal and stuff, but you're not making sulfate of potash. You're not making a lot of these other things that you would be using. And so, yes, you have to get them. You have to buy them, basically. So they're actually not talking about those kind of fertilizers, though. They're not talking about blood meal and bone meal being, unfindable. They're talking about industrial ag chemicals, which mostly urea, the nitrogen and stuff. So huge amounts of synthetic chemicals, which is what industrial ag uses, are petroleum based. The whole entire process is totally dependent on petroleum. There's absolutely no other way about it. Without petroleum, the entire way that we grow food for this civilization and this population would just collapse, would just totally collapse. It's required for all the pesticides, nearly all pesticides and all herbicides, and they're all derivatives of petroleum in some way, or the process is dependent upon petroleum, or natural, derivatives, natural gas, such as the Haber-Bosch process, right? The process that they figured out of how to pull nitrogen out of the atmosphere and condense it and then pump it into the soil in like a gaseous liquid form. Because the air that we are breathing is actually 79% nitrogen. If you don't already know that, a lot of people's like, what? I thought it was oxygen. They'll call it oxygen. But actually, it's 79% nitrogen, 20% oxygen, and 1% all the other gases, radon, all these other gases that exist, including 0.003% carbon dioxide. Tiny, 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 tiny little fraction carbon dioxide. And so they figured out a way to pull that 79% or some of it out of the air. It's really remarkable, but it requires huge amounts of natural gas, which is petroleum based. It's not natural. That's a term that they conveniently coined, natural gas, but it's natural as in it does come from planet Earth. That's true, but so it's that's what they're talking about, those kind of chemicals. Okay, so for us, we can just make some more compost. We can clean out our friend's chicken coop. We can just ferment grass clippings in water. Now they all have their trade-offs. The garden starts smelling like the putrid stench of death again, yes, and there's a little more pest and disease that gets attracted for sure, but it does work. It works, and it's free, and it's always available. So we're not stressing because we have those skills already if we choose to use them. That's why it's so good to know all the different methods that you can, because then if it comes down to it, oh, well, okay, then we just have to pivot. You got to pivot and adapt. And so we can just pivot back to the homemade stuff. Not a problem at all. Not what I want to do, and not what we're going to have to do, because they're not even talking about that kind of stuff. So, and if 2020 and the subsequent couple years showed you guys anything, it's that there can be tons of smoke and sparks or whatever, but no fire. That there can be basically like all this incoming shortages and this and that. What's coming? You have no idea what's coming and what's about to happen. Total collapse. And yet nothing ever really happens. Prices rise. That's the thing that happens. Prices rise, and you subtly give away little bits of freedom here and there. Yeah, and so that's basically all that really is happening. Not like a big collapse is coming. What about Y2K? Y2K right around the corner. So, and then that came, like I've told you guys before, I was sitting there on Y2K, 1999, going into 2000, waiting for all the lights to just turn black in total chaos. And we're going to all have to start building campfires and stuff. And I was waiting there, and the clock struck, and I was like, oh, here it comes. And then nothing. I was like, okay, well, maybe it was like Pacific time that the clock was talking about, so, okay, a couple hours and then nothing. And oh, well, nothing ever happened, and all the shortages during the pandemic and stuff, man, nothing really happened all that much, but even if it did, we can pivot because we've got the skills. So this is a long roundabout way of saying that always invest in the skills. That's something people can't take from you. You'll never lose those. Once you got the skills, it gives you options. And that's what gives you satisfaction in your mind and heart. That, well, okay, that might suck, but whatever comes, we will adapt to it because we've proven ourselves time and time again. So there was my rant on that, guys. Tsunami Tommy is using the Viking onions. See, if I had kept a patch of the Viking onions here, this would be a non-issue because we'd have Viking onions galore coming up right now. Doesn't matter how cold it gets; those are going to be coming back year after year. Taylor Reindl, no. And so I've been keeping up the private tribe mostly on what I've started. So I think I made a post a couple days ago there of where I was just saying that we just started the pepper seeds, not even all of them yet. We just started peppers and celery and parsley. That's what we just started. And so we've got a little bit. Well, the onions we started, a couple weeks ago, and they're getting tall now. But we are, just don't. Besides peppers, I mean, everything else we have all season to do. So unless you're in zone like 2 or 3, you got a super short growing season, you got plenty of time. And it's better to be a little too late than it is too early. Definitely. Okay. As I always say, and then last year didn't do. Okay. But to my defense, though, last year I started so early, not only because, the season or the zones are changing and everything, but also because I wanted to make videos about seed starting. And so you have to get ahead of the curve a little bit if people are going to find it useful. So I wanted to start my stuff several weeks earlier than I normally would so that I could use those as seed starting, videos. Kind of worked out a little bit, but doesn't matter. I'm not making those kind of videos anymore. So you'll get everything you ever needed to know about seed starting in the Seed Starting Masterclass course next year. I mean, everything. Including dates and times that I start stuff. So let's see. Yes, Shawnee Gross says, doesn't have to be a fertilizer crisis if the farmers change their ways. So, and I appreciate your comments on the video, definitely. Thoughtful analysis. I appreciate that. Now, a couple of things, though, is that we are so deep into the current way of doing things that there's no other way. Now, if you watched in the beginning of that video that I just made yesterday, the last interview is interviewing the guy, and he says, well, we've had a fertilizer crisis before, several years ago, and Sri Lanka, the president of Sri Lanka, outlawed chemical fertilizers, just like that, overnight, and implemented a new organic only. Sri Lanka's only going to do organic farming. And guess what happened? Yields dropped by 40%. Okay? Yields dropped by 40%. Now, just think of any business that you're going to be in, and if your yields, which means also your profits, drop by 40%, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. And so from a business standpoint, that was absolute suicide. And it created a revolution in the country and overthrew the government, and the president had to flee the country, of course. So it's not good. And the thing to take away from this is that you can't just switch overnight, okay? That they can't just switch overnight to organic stuff. And that's what your comment sparked that thought in my mind, because a lot of people think that we can. I'm not saying that you think that, but a lot of people think that we can just start to regenerative ag and stuff like that. Ooh, that'd be great, and it would be, but there's no way we can do that with the current system. So I don't know where you guys live, but if you live like in the Midwest, you will see megalopolis farms. I mean, mega farms. I'm talking thousands of acres to one farming family, all right? And not really a family, but like a farming enterprise, So it used to be, and it still is in other countries in certain ways, it used to be most of the produce was on small family holdings of 5 to 10 acres or less. And they grew a variety of different things, including animals, all up in the mix. Now that is sustainable. That is beautiful. That is the way to do it. And it could be done organically, regeneratively type, naturally with that level if animals are involved. But what has happened is that all those people over the years have gotten bought out. The cost is just too high. And that's what's going to happen now is that all the small guys, they just can't compete. How are they going to pay 50% more or something crazy for their fertilizers? They can't absorb those costs. And so they're going to go out of business. They're going to have to sell their farms. Now they'll still farm, but the people, other people will own it, you know? So they'll sell the farms, and it's consolidating all the farms. Until now, my dad used to live out in the heart of the farming country, and he knew some of these farmers, and they are farming thousands of acres, you know, one little farming family enterprise. So it's just more and more the big guys swallowing up the little guys. And so when you're farming, you know, 2,800 acres or 3,500 acres, you're not getting bone meal and blood meal. And I mean, you're not, you know, are you going to use a crop dusting aircraft to spread your compost tea or your JMS? You know, no, you're not. Nobody, I mean, it's just not possible. And you have to use the herbicides, because if you're not using the herbicides, then you know, what are you going to do? Like the old school, hey, Ethel, why don't you and Thelma get out there and weed that back 500 acres for us? You know, get an early start on pulling them weeds, you know, and that's just not feasible. Okay. The only way is hardcore herbicides. It's because that's the system we've developed. And so it's you know, it's unfortunate, but the whole system has to change, like from the ground, and probably has to collapse before it can change, because they just have to keep getting stronger chemicals, stronger herbicides, you know, stronger fertilizers, because everything adapts to it, you know, and the bank of nutrients that was built up in the soil over millions of years is being eroded every year, eroded. And people are thinking that we're able to grow wonderful food, you know, but we're withdrawing from a bank account that we're not putting deposits back into. So that, it's just math, only lasts for so long. Eventually we'll go to make a withdrawal and there won't be much there. There won't be anything there. So we just keep dumping stronger chemicals and stronger everything at them. It's a predicament more than it is a problem. You know, a problem can be solved, but a predicament you just kind of have to deal with. You know, you have to manage. And so that's kind of where we're at as far as the food supply and stuff and the fertilizers. So yeah, when you're talking about that kind of farming, big issues. So, oh yeah, absolutely. Taylor says the constant use of fertilizer or of herbicides is creating super weeds in the fields now. Yes, super weeds and super bugs. Things that, because nature will always find a way. Nature always finds a way. And so the weeds will adapt, and you got to spray stronger and stronger and more different things. And then the insects will adapt and they'll become, you know, super insects. And then you got to spray stronger and stronger. Now, some could say that that's a clever business model, you know, when the answer is, well, you just got to use more of the solution, and you got to use different chemicals. Oh, different chemicals. Well, they wouldn't want us to use the competitors' chemicals, would they? Well, yeah, that's right. The competitors. Yeah, that's right. Never mind that if you go up the ladder, we own them all. Anyways, the same company, you know, the same investment firm owns them all anyways. So there is no competition. It only appears that there's competition on the lower levels. Yeah, so, you know, got to just add more. So it's kind of crazy, guys. So yeah, if you guys, if anybody wants to use their crop duster to spray fermented plant juice, you know, please let me know. John Saldana's here. Sam says, good to see you, John. I haven't heard from John in a while. Where's he at? Let's see here. Let me see. I can't find it. What's up, John? Hope everything is going well for you. I hope that you've figured out how to grow some killer potatoes. If you're still there, in the yours is one of the few places that I keep on my weather thing because it's the most amazing weather that. Um, let's see here. Yep, it's some of the most amazing weather. This is John's weather. Look at that. Look at how temperate that place is. Amazing. 66, 65. I mean, the highs are varying by 1 degree, 2 degrees, and so are the lows. And look at that, cloudy, overcast every day. I would personally thrive in that weather. I mean, I would absolutely thrive in that weather. Now, it would make it a little bit challenging to grow things, though. You would have to adjust what you grow because a lot of things are not going to like that. But a lot of things would like that. So look at our forecast for the next 10 days. Look at that, guys. Pretty much rain and cool, Not at all cold, but cool. Definitely. But guys, don't let these false springs, don't let those fake you out, okay? Don't think, "Oh, well, we got to get our onions out there." No. No, you don't. You don't. Yes, Big West, this is absolutely a good point. The soil needs to be turned around. The switch to organic was a learning curve we now understand. It doesn't just flip. Biology needs to be reinstated before we can feed it and heal it. Yes. And I will add to that, before the biology can be added and take root, it needs to have the home. You have to have the organic matter into the soil. You have to have the right things in the soil, not just years and years and decades now of just hammering the soil with repeated tillage, deep tillage over and over, leaving it exposed to the elements all winter long, ultraviolet light, never putting anything but more chemicals back into the soil. Oh, well, but they take their corn and soybean, their GMO corn and soybean trimmings, and they leave it all there. That's not the same. That's not what we're talking about. Not even close. So, yes, it's about the biology. And that's what I said in the video I made yesterday. It's not like they could just, it will take years of rehabilitation to the soil to get it where it's more self-sustaining again. But on an industrial scale, it's just not really going to be feasible. That there's, even organic farming, not our kind of organic, which is like natural farming, but organic farming, if you look deeper into it, they've got so many chemicals that they can use with that stuff. It's kind of a joke nowadays. It's just a really expensive marketing term. If you can get organic certified, well, now you can charge quadruple and people will just eat it up. Now, it's still better than conventional, of course. A lot of times because of soil management things. So because of how they pay attention to the soil, if the soil are not there if the nutrients are not in the soil, the plants can't uptake them. Plants don't just manufacture nutrients out of thin air. They can mine them, yes, but they do not just create them out of nothing. And so if it's not in the soil, it's not going to be in the plant. And so we need rich, nutrient-rich soil. Oh, Tony just messaged me. Says, "Hi, Nate. I'm confused with the time." Oh. That's okay, Tony. We'll do it next time. Let's just do it. Let's see. I don't know if you're watching, Tony, or what, but we'll just do it next time. That's not a big deal. Good. Good to hear from you, John. Right. Chick Eastwater says Monsanto was bought up by Bayer. Yes, and of course, when you then just go higher up the ladder, as I'm sure you've done, and then you see, oh, well, who owns these companies? Oh, well, it's a combination of three main investment firms, investment groups: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. It's, oh, okay, so three totally different companies that, okay, so there's got to be competition between, three different companies. Oh, well, who owns the companies, those three companies? Well, when you look more and more, you say, okay, so the number one shareholder of each companies is each other. BlackRock owns the primary share is the primary shareholder of the Vanguard stocks, and it's all just smoke and mirrors. It's all the same entities up top, that they just own each other and stuff. So it's I mean, that's just the reality of the world that we live in. Are we afraid of any of this kind of stuff? No, absolutely not. Again, because we have the skills and we have the mindset, but it's not by accident. We cultivate the mindset and we cultivate the skills, so I'll tell you what, we're just going to keep thriving until the day the world stops turning. And when it does, we will reassess, reevaluate, and make a new plan, but I think it's going to be a wonderful upcoming growing season. We're growing so much good stuff, and we got to get out to the Viking Uncle. If you're watching, we're coming out Monday. We're going to start our Mondays. So we need to get those fruit trees trimmed. So we need to get the fruit trees trimmed and the blackberries staked up. We need to get them on the trellis. The Doyle blackberries, they grew several feet. Remember, they all got tore up by the raccoons. And then we had to replant. I had to get new ones. And so now some of the vines are 4, 5, 6 feet, but they're just all over the ground. So we need to take them and put them onto the proper trellis. It's okay, Tony. We can just set up another time. So, right, Dusty Flats says, the answer is not everyone to grow for themselves, and we wouldn't need farms. Where's all the flour for bread going to come from? Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely not, there's not just one hardcore answer. Well, if everyone just grows for themselves, problem solved. And it's not like that. That's the nature of a predicament. There's not really there's not a solution, really. Now, that would really help. Okay, Viking Uncle is watching. Good. So we'll be out Monday. The answer is not just, it's more like victory gardens. Okay, if you guys do the research, do a little research into victory gardens. And I'm not talking about just a nice garden. Like, there was a push, a propaganda, a positive propaganda push by the government during World War II to get everyone growing their own food. There was like seed giveaways and fertilizer and all these kind of, you could take little classes, and there was posters and literal propaganda about everyone doing their part by growing their own food. And it was insane, the surgence, the upsurgence in home gardens. And during those years, about roughly 40% of America's fresh produce was grown in backyard gardens. 40%. And if you compare that to nowadays, it's less than 1%. Okay, less than 1% now. And even the people that have gardens, a lot of time are not really focused on they're growing little flowers and some herbs and tomatoes, but like back then it was, you got to grow, the sustenance crops. People were growing cabbages and all kinds of stuff, potatoes and things. And so 40%. Now that would make a big impact. That would make a big impact on things. But of course, the companies that are profiting trillions, I mean, just like infinite money on stuff, they don't want that to happen, anymore. They don't want that to happen. So yes, it's true that, you can't grow Lunchables in your garden. You can't milk your Capri Suns out. You can't grow Gushers, things. So that's true. But we can grow real food. And so we have to absolutely get back more to that, is what I'm saying. If most people could grow, if people could just have a backyard garden, it would be outstanding. Yes, things like bread, things like grain need industrial processing, because if you've ever grown wheat or rye to eat as bread, like I have, you will quickly find, oh my goodness, it is astonishingly labor intensive. So it's either you have a whole village full of people that are all going to be eating the grain like they used to do, you got 50 or 100 people or whatever, 20 people, or you have an industrial machine that does it, which that's the option. That's the better option. So yes, for things like that, it would be. But for lots of other things, man, people would just be amazed at how much they could grow in their backyards. Let's see here. Oh, look, hello from Tegan and Grayson. What's up, Grayson the Destroyer? Tegan the Kettlebell Warrior. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, guys, we now on a whim, I saw these. They got me. Gurneys or whatever sent me like 5 different magazines. I don't know why so many, but literally like one every other week for the past like month or 2 months. And I saw in there they were shipping live onion plants, onion slips, basically we'll call. And now I start all my own onions, which is great. But the Tony's here now. He's backstage now, but we got 10 minutes, man. It's okay. It's okay. He's like, sorry. Hey, it's okay, man. Not a problem. We will just hit it up next time, because I'm looking to get out of here. And well, we got maybe 20 minutes actually. If you want to say some things, let's. Oh, but I don't have the right. I switched from using my podcast mic to this mic. Okay. So if I get out of it, it's going to get everything all whacked out. So because once it was like 10 minutes, once I saw that it wasn't going to happen, then I switched to this mic, which would produce a terrible echo. So let's do it next time. Okay. So he was like, oh yeah, sorry. It's okay. I mean, who even knows? I don't know what time it is there. I think it's evening time there anyways. Fabrizio, are you up to the 40 kg kettlebells yet? No, I got the 32 kgs though. But man, once you start doing them properly, oh boy, I drop back down to the 24s for a lot of things. The kettlebell fitness program coming to your Viking educational platform. Yeah. Oh yeah. Someday it will. But for now, we're perfecting the craft. Definitely. So is Camille. So is Tegan. Tegan's getting really good at the kettlebells, which is awesome. So, where at in Northern California again? I forget. It's are you? Because I know right now is a wonderful time there. Is the rains still there? Okay. Sparks says, do you have a planting deadline date for your onions, and what would your ideal time to plant them out? So last year I pushed it a little bit, as you guys know, and I planted earlier than I should have because they were just too long inside, and then it got super cold. For several, I planted only about a week earlier than I normally would have. So that really didn't affect it, but it just got super cold. And they had spent so long indoors that they thought they went through a winter, because it was like in the teens for like 2 weeks, after planting them, the lows. So they almost all went to flower. It was just horrible. So this year we're waiting off because they grow so fast. With all the right nutrients and the Viking growing system and stuff, they just grow so fast that it doesn't even matter. Especially putting them into ice cold soil, they don't really do well anyways. So roughly 420, April 20th. It's easy to remember, So roughly April 20th is when we're going to plant them out. That's 1 month before the last frost date, give or take, about actually 3 weeks, So, but like I said, Gurney's got me, and so I saw on there they had a little thing that said, "Hey, we'll ship you some onion slips," and these are called candy apple red onions. They're supposed to be super sweet and very delicious for fresh eating. Now, they do not store well. Okay, they don't store well at all. So these are going to be for our fresh eating. So I went ahead and ordered some, and they are. This is how they come. And I've planted these before, and a lot of them die, but they can do okay. So here's the slips. Here's how they come. This was like $20 or something for this little thing. Now, these are going to be for the fresh eating. So I have no intention of these storing. So I'm going to plant them really dense, and we're going to eat them fresh all winter or all summer. Because typically we'll let our onions go for the storage onions. And so we're like, oh, we don't want to eat those. What about salsa and all kinds of stuff? So with a name like candy apple red onion, it was pretty enticing. It's some kind of a hybrid. I'm going to say Gurney's, it's probably some type of hybrid. I'm not really concerned. So see, we probably won't even bother planting ones like that, and we'll plant the ones like that, We'll see. So these can be hit or miss. They're nowhere near as good as the ones you grow yourself, but we'll see. They'll be okay. So, oh yeah, you grew these last year. Oh, good. Taylor Reindl says, I grew them last year. So good. Nice. Okay. Glad to hear. I could just tell that they would be. By the description, I could just tell. Taylor says, question, sometimes it seems I cannot get my hot compost to fully break down, and I'm worried about incorporating it into my beds and robbing nitrogen. So that would have been a good question for Tony, wouldn't it? Because he's the compost master. Now, for me, who I don't claim to be a master at compost, as far as the fun, the scientific understanding of it, but I make tons of compost and I use it everywhere. So in that way, I am quite proficient at it. But I don't get too stressed out about it. Just turn it several times, get it hot, and if you need to add more nitro, alfalfa meal is wonderful for sparking things up. Get it nice and moist, make sure you got plenty of moisture, and then incorporate it several times. I mean, flip it, take the outside, flip it to the inside. I'm sure you know all this. And make sure it's broken down. Now, it's not really going to rob nitro so much unless you have a bunch of carbon heavy things in there. It's more about, I just found over the years, you don't want decomposing stuff next to the plants. You just don't. If the goal is to not have to use pesticides or herbicides, even the natural ones and stuff, then you want that stuff to be clean. I mean, you don't want stuff that's in different processes of breaking down, because you just attract stuff that eat plants. You want microorganisms and things, not insects, in the garden. So that's one of the things I saw in one of those Backyard Bill AI videos, that it was like the Amish fertilize with food scraps, and it literally had an AI video that looked real, but I could tell it was AI, of a guy dumping a 5-gallon bucket of raw food scraps right on top, or right next to all the plants, and just leaving it. And that's all they do. I guarantee you That is not what they are doing. Guarantee you they're not. That would bring for you a huge host of problems. Okay. So it's ridiculous. It depends how broken down. I would let it finish a little bit more. I would just let it finish some more. I mean, and then incorporate it. I'm a huge fan now over the years and so many experimentations. I'm a huge fan of fully broken down compost to where you cannot really recognize the ingredients. If you can see, oh, that's straw, and oh, that's this food scrap, it's not ready. Taylor, if you got more questions, ask me in the because I'm seeing okay, but that's a specific kind of question that depends on some things. Ask it in the community, okay, and I will answer it in depth. Pretty much spot on. Pretty much spot on. Oh, maybe it's because of daylight savings time. Oh my gosh, that's probably what it is. Tony probably thought it was an hour later. And so, oh man, yeah, I know. Daylight savings time. What a oh man. That's one of the most irritating things you can imagine. Think about it. Someone that is totally in tune with like their body and natural cycles and things, and I wake up pretty much exactly 7 o'clock every day without an alarm, and so I just naturally wake up at this time because I've trained myself for that. And to then, well, hey, we're going to switch the clocks by an hour. So now when your body wants to wake up at 7, it's actually, we're going to call it 8 o'clock instead. Well, why? Well, it's so that you can get more daylight. Okay, but there's not more daylight. There's the exact same number of hours. And why don't we just keep the same time so that our bodies can be used to it? It's all part of the whole thing where they just want to keep everybody in a mild state of unease, and so, hey, let's just mess with their circadian rhythm. Let's just mess with their clock. Hey, guess what? Now the time is different. Why? I just can't. It's horrible. So that's probably what messed them up. Yeah. Yes, John, still the same email. Yeah, Sam. Oops. Now, this can this can depend on several things. I will post pictures in the community of exactly where mine is at right now. Okay, so I will do that sometime today and explain that to you. But it depends on your state of the ginger that you get. So one of the first mini courses that I'm making is the Ginger Masterclass, where I will take you guys to the, I already filmed it. I'll take you guys to the store and show you exactly what to look for the fastest sprouting ginger. Because if stuff, can you hear me? Let's see here. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me through this thing? Okay, thank you. Let's see. Gary Smith, thank you very much, my friend, $30. And thank you very much for last week's contribution as well. It's very generous of you. I definitely, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate not only the monetary contribution, but the encouragement. You know what I mean? It's inspiring. So thank you. I'm glad you find value in everything. Let me know if you need anything in particular. You know, I'm there. So said, love the last videos and your journey. Thank you. So yeah, guys. So the last video that I made yesterday is basically how it's going to have to be moving forward. Because I'm not going to make more like tutorials, you know, about the AI can just steal and stuff. It's just going to be about the journey now, because you guys already know everything basically. So now it's going to be more about the journey, because we got to find land and be out of this house in 3 years. Yeah, less than 3 years now. And so that's going to be a journey, you know. And Tegan and Camille live here now, moved in a couple weeks ago. And so a lot of things changing, definitely. And so I want to bring you guys along for all of that, because that's what the AI will never be able to steal, is the experience of being a human being. At least it will not be able to steal your life story or your experience of being, or my experience. So it's just going to be like that. So you guys make sure that you let me know, what kind of things would you like to see more of, you know? Like I showed you in the last video, some of the seed starting setup that we have, which is not ideal, but that old tent that we had to do away with it, because the basement flooded and got mildew all over it and stuff. So yeah, it's wild. So yeah, a lot of things happening. Okay. Thank you. I am Root says, I deeply appreciate your urge to spread your highly relevant garden knowledge. Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you like it. Yeah. You guys just let me know what we need to see more of. Yeah. And let's see here. Okay, yeah. So it depends. You guys are talking about the ginger. It can take, if it's not hot enough, it will take months. But you got to have that soil like 85 degrees, and it will sprout in a couple weeks if you pick the right stuff. So who of you guys are already growing stuff? You know, like we're still a month away from planting anything, you know. So we are, like I said, I mean, we're still a month away. We're just starting stuff. So who in you guys, I know a lot of you guys are already got like stuff in the ground. So who has got that? And what are you making? Yashaya says, do you have any recommendations on things to repel cats? What I do now, for now, is cover my containers with cardboard so that the urine does not get into my watering trough. That's a tough one. In the Viking growing system, I show you the only way that I found out. I mean, I can't really explain it all here, but that has pretty much stopped the cats. But as far as repelling the cats, forget about it. I mean, if the cats want to get in, and I like having the cats around. Lots of neighborhood cats here and stuff. This place was infested with chipmunks and mice before, and now none. Yeah, Chick East Water says about, I've planted and used Bonnie plants lots of times. Yeah, they're good. Bonnie plants are good, except, you know, that it takes a lot of money, you know. Oh, Taylor, you put that in the in a super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. So, like I said, let us answer that in the community, because I want to give in depth. And you can send me a picture of your bed, would be, or of the setup where you might want to put them, and then I will show you what I've done. Okay? So, thank you. We'll do that today. Um, okay, Spawn Viking Grow says, Nate, when do you think I should reduce the extra thick mulch on my garlic zone 3/4? Last frost is May 18th. The Old Farmer's Almanac. Okay, so if it's already starting to poke through, don't. You know, if it's extra thick, I don't know what you're calling extra thick. You know, it doesn't need to be too thick, but really, I leave it there to help make things nice and moist until closer to harvest time. Then we will remove the mulch, actually, around a few weeks before harvest time. Very important. Taylor, I hope I said thank you very much for the contribution as well. I appreciate your ongoing contributions, big time. Tony says, sorry about letting you down. The daylight thing really screwed me up. I knew that's what it was. It all clicked. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. I completely understand it. So we will just do, now you know that we're some hour off now. It's so bizarre. I don't blame you at all. So we'll just pick it up next time. Yes, this is exactly why. This is exactly the ultimate reason it was created. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and Colorblind Garden says, daylight saving, the greatest thing never. Yeah, and if you look it up, it says, well, it was created for the farmers to have more daylight. I'm thinking, the farmers? What kind of... So that they have more daylight hours to get the work done during the summertime. I'm thinking the last people in the world that would need that is the farmers. The farmers are not looking at the clock. They're looking at the sun. Is the sun up? We're working. Is the sun down? Well, we're going to have to stop working or get lights. I mean, they're not thinking, well, we can't stop working. It's not time yet. Or, well, we're going to work till 7. That's not how farming works. So I don't know what they're talking about. Yes. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being here. And we will see you guys next week. Maybe we'll have Tony on next week. I don't know if he's available. If he is, then we'll do it. Because, we always love interviewing Tony because a lot of good things to say, a wealth of knowledge. So, guys, put your questions for Tony in the comments of this video, okay? So, like, if you got specific questions for him, or maybe I'll make a community post or something like that. So we can ask some specific questions because, each gardener sort of has specialties. I would say his specialties are potatoes and composting. Everything else as well, but that, definitely potatoes. So you can ask him lots of questions about that. Okay. So guys, make sure you like and hype the videos if you can. And if you guys are running out of time, you want to get an awesome garden this year, check out the Viking growing system. I know hundreds of you already have, so thank you for that. And I hope that you get massive value from that, which I know that you will. You'll have the best garden ever by following the principles. And then you can review the videos each year and you will learn more and more. Because many of the videos are like, you guys know how packed my videos are with information. Some of them are like 20 and 30 minutes of just, but they're engaging. They're very, very, they explain a whole topic. So you can pause them if you need to digest, the stuff, or rewind them as many times as you want. It doesn't matter. They'll be there forever. So it's a reference source, which is great. And then the community, which is going to be super valuable in moving forward, ongoing guidance. Okay, so if you guys want that, it's there. And remember, do your shopping through Amazon, through the Viking storefront. Don't forget about that. I know a lot of you are doing that still, so I appreciate you guys. Oh, that's very nice. Listen to that. I Am Root says, I recommend the Viking growing system. It works for a small older lady just fine. It may well be the best money you ever spent. Very good. I need to get that. I need to get that somehow. I need to get like a screenshot of that, please, because I would use that in some of my marketing. Thank you. And then Melvina, yes, man, you're consistent hype. You're one of my top PR, hype ladies. So I super appreciate it. I hyped your videos on my phone, my laptop, my husband's phone, his laptop. Nice. So yes, super appreciate you guys, no doubt. And especially, going forward, it's going to be, we'll just see how it is. The only antidote to the whole AI future is becoming more human with our stuff. And so that's like what the last video was about. That's what the future ones will be about. I don't really care about views. It's all just is what it is now. Everything kind of changes. So, all right, guys, we will see you next time.